Come to save us? They come to save us? Yeah, please. Fucking please. I'm off this bitch. Oh my granny, I don't play with shit like this.
Oh, that shit is hurt. I'm gonna fuck up bitch. Hell yeah, that shit hurt.
Fucking please. Please. It's stuck. The anchor's stuck.
I wish it say pain on any parent. Oh my gosh.
Fighting back tears, Zahrie Walls says her daughter, 27-year-old Zahrie Walls, stole her heart, and now she is in pain.
It doesn't feel good.
Walls was with a group of friends on a boat in Lake Michigan near Navy Pier, and Chicago fire officials say she somehow fell off. The U.S. Coast Guard found her body 1.5 miles from shore. She was taken to Northwestern Hospital, where she was pronounced.
We don't know 100% what happened, but as the days come about, we know that as of right now, God called her home.
Wells says her daughter didn't know how to swim and wasn't wearing a life jacket, something her mother says is a reminder for people as they head out on the water this summer.
That's Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
It's not a pool. You have to have special equipment during times such as those.
Wells says her daughter was a celebrity hairstylist. At the young age of 14, she decided she wanted to be a beautician. Kanika Jenkins was her best friend, and she would experiment on her.
She would do different styles on her head to test. She was like the tester of the different styles.
Jenkins died of hypothermia inside a hotel walk-in freezer in 2017, a story CBS News Chicago covered. Wells says Jenkins invited her daughter to the party at the Crown Plaza in Rosemont, but she declined.
If my baby would have been there with Kanika, it wouldn't have happened. But God has an expiration date, so we don't have no control over it.
Walls' godfather says despite her hustle to become a hairstylist, she remained humble and giving.
I want to thank all you guys for coming out for my baby. I knew she was special when I first gave birth. I was only 19 years old. I just knew I didn't want my baby to struggle the way I did. I supported her in every way. She left a legacy. At 27 years old. She only had the opportunity to be 27 years old for 3 months. I'm trying not to question God, but it hurts so bad. But I know one thing, my baby loved me. Yes. My baby loved me, and she knew I loved her. She loved creating stuff so that I could start acting crazy. She called me King Lolo when I was acting crazy.
Imagine going on a fun boat trip on a sunny day and never coming back. Today, we look at the strange and sudden death of a young woman named Zahrie Walls who fell into the water near a busy city pier. What really happened? Who saw what? And why are there still many questions? What do you think happened that day? Should boats have more safety rules? Before we begin, drop a comment below and tell us where you're watching from. Share your thoughts as the story unfolds because your voice matters. These are real people, real tragedies, and real lessons. Welcome to Horrific Crimes. Here we cover real, true crime cases, from shocking murders and missing persons to dark relationship crimes. Each episode digs into the motives and secrets behind the headlines. Real victims, real people, real justice. Please like and subscribe for weekly uploads that reveal the darkest corners of human behavior. Now, let's begin. Zahrie Walls was a young woman who lived in Chicago, Illinois, where she built a career in the beauty industry. She became known because she worked as a hairstylist who focused on styling wigs, braids, and different hair looks for people preparing for special occasions. Her skill brought her attention from many people around the city, and she used her talent to create a steady stream of content. She used simple tools, consistent practice, and creative techniques to build her reputation slowly over time. Her work became noticeable because she put effort into showing each step of the styling process. As she continued growing her skills, she began posting pictures and videos online to share the results of the hairstyles she created. These posts ranged from short clips showing quick styling results to longer videos that detailed how she put looks together. Her online activity increased as more people began watching her work, and she used her page as a way to show what she could do. Her posts allowed others to see before and after results, which helped viewers understand her level of talent. The content became a consistent part of her routine, and it helped her gain recognition from people who liked hair, fashion, and beauty. Because her posts reached more people, her Instagram page gained a large number of followers. Many viewers enjoyed watching the styles she shared and began returning to her page to see updates. Her followers included everyday people, clients, and fans of beauty content who appreciated simple demonstrations and clear results. Her Instagram handle was @ZahrieWalls, and many people used the name when referring to her online. As her page grew, she received messages, comments, and requests from people who wanted to learn more about the work she produced. Her popularity increased because she helped people prepare for events by giving them hairstyles they wanted for photo shoots, parties, and other occasions. She worked with different kinds of clients and learned how to match their needs with the looks she created. Her services were often used by people looking for special event results, and her ability to deliver these looks made her page even more visible. Many of her clients shared their finished results online, which brought her more attention and helped her expand her network. This pattern made her part of a larger online beauty community. Over time, her work became well-known not only because of her talent, but also because of the consistency of her updates. She maintained an online identity that connected her professional work with her personal presence. Her photos and videos allowed viewers to see the types of styles she specialized in, and people grew familiar with her techniques. Her steady posting schedule made her page active, which helped keep her name present in the minds of people who used Instagram to find beauty inspiration. This visibility helped her build trust with clients who were searching for a stylist with proven results. Another detail that many viewers remembered about her was her connection to a girl named Kennica Jenkins, who died several years earlier in a separate case that received heavy attention online. Zahrie and Kennica were friends, and people often remembered seeing them together in earlier social media posts. When news about Zahrie appeared, many individuals mentioned this past connection, which brought additional attention to her story. This link caused older posts to resurface, as viewers revisited past memories involving her and her friend. The earlier case made her name familiar to certain online communities before her own story became widely shared. Her background shows a clear picture of a young woman who used her talent and online presence to build a path in the beauty world. She developed a following through consistent work, public visibility, and connection to people who supported her content. Her page served as a place where she displayed skills, interacted with clients, and maintained her identity as a hairstylist. Her presence in her community and online made her name recognizable, and the work she created continued to circulate through different social media platforms. Her background explains why many people reacted quickly when her name appeared in news reports, and why her story received widespread attention. The day began on June 21st, 2025, and that afternoon Zahrie went out onto a boat near Chicago's Navy Pier. She rode on a vessel that was close to the busy shoreline where people walk, eat, and watch the lake. The Pier area is a place with many visitors, and boats often travel nearby for tours and private rides. She boarded like other passengers do for a short trip on the water. The plan was a normal outing, but the events that followed changed everything about that afternoon. By the time the boat was out on the open water, there were many other craft around them. Small boats, tour boats, and private vessels shared the space, moving in different directions. The lake's surface showed wakes from engines and ripples from wind. Because of the number of boats, the water was not calm like a small pond. There was constant movement from passing traffic. People on nearby boats and on the pier could see the busy scene, and that made the area less quiet than a lone stretch of water. At some point during the trip, Zahrie entered the water of Lake Michigan. Witnesses and early accounts described her going from the boat into the lake, though the exact moment and reason were not fully detailed in initial statements. Some people on other boats reported seeing a person in the water, and calls were made to alert emergency services. The sudden nature of her entry made it hard for those nearby to quickly piece together exactly what happened in the seconds before she was in the water. Observers later noted that the water that day had strong movement, which can pull at a person's arms and legs and make it hard to stay afloat. Currents and waves can be powerful, even when the sky looks clear. When a person is in moving water without help, remaining on the surface becomes difficult very fast. The area near the pier can be affected by wakes from larger boats and by wind that pushes the surface in different directions. These elements combined to create conditions that required floating support for anyone who fell into the lake. At the time she went into the water, she did not have any visible flotation aids strapped on. There was no life vest reported on her body during early accounts, and no buoyant support was attached to her clothing. Lacking a life-preserving device makes it harder for rescuers to keep a person above water and can reduce the time someone can breathe on the surface. This lack of a flotation device became a key detail in reports because it directly affected how the rescue teams approached the search and the urgency of their actions. Emergency crews responded after calls came in telling them someone had fallen from a boat. Rescue teams used nearby boats and equipment to comb the area, looking for a person in the waves and wake lines. Search efforts included multiple people working together to scan large stretches of water and check under wakes and behind floating debris. Later in the day, searchers located her in the lake, and they brought her aboard a rescue vessel before transferring her to medical transport. The recovery took place after a period of searching through an area with many moving boats. Once she was brought from the water, she was taken to a hospital where medical staff examined her condition. Health professionals checked her breathing, heart, and other vital signs, and then carried out further medical assessments. The official medical finding recorded after the examination named drowning as the cause of death. Authorities used that determination to complete the immediate portion of their report. The incident led to many follow-up questions about what happened on the boat, who else was present, and which safety steps were taken before the trip, and those questions continued as people reviewed the timeline of events that afternoon. Authorities and rescue units arrived soon after the alert was sent out about a person falling into the water near Navy Pier. Emergency calls raised concern, and within a short while, officers, rescue boats, and support crews gathered at the scene to begin search operations. Their arrival took place under a sky and water that were still reflecting the afternoon light as they prepared to comb the lake. Boats equipped for water rescue launched from docks and moved toward the area where witnesses had reported seeing someone enter the lake. The coordination between teams suggested they treated the call with urgency and seriousness. Once on the lake, rescue teams spread out to search the area systematically. They scanned wake lines, checked water movement near the pier, and carefully monitored spots where a person in the water might drift. Searchers stayed alert for any sign of a body or floating item, using both boats and visual observation from the shore. The water surface was scrutinized for ripples or unusual patterns that might show where someone was submerged. As minutes passed, search paths expanded to cover more area around nearby boats and docks to ensure no possibility was overlooked. This methodical coverage was maintained even as light began to change toward evening. Later in the daylight hours, at approximately 5:30 p.m., rescuers discovered a body in the water. Divers and boat crews moved quickly to bring the individual aboard a rescue vessel. The recovered person was given immediate medical attention and then transported from the lake to medical transport for further care. After extraction from the water, the individual was taken directly to a full-service hospital for detailed examination. The hospital where the patient was brought is known for handling critical cases and emergencies. Medical staff there began necessary procedures to check vital signs and assess the extent of water exposure and possible injury. After the arrival at the medical facility, hospital personnel carried out an autopsy and other medical reviews to determine the cause of death. According to the medical report, the official cause was declared to be drowning. This conclusion was based on the condition in which the body was found and standard procedures for water-related fatalities. The declaration marked the formal end of the immediate response phase and allowed authorities to close the initial rescue and recovery operations. With the cause of death confirmed, public statements were released summarizing what rescue teams found and what hospital staff determined. Following the confirmation, investigators began compiling a record of timestamps, witness statements, and environmental data from that day. Logs included notes about when emergency calls were placed, when rescue teams launched, and the exact time of recovery. They also documented who responded, what tools were used, and which rescue vessels took part. These records were filed as part of the official investigation file. They analyzed the movement of the water, boat traffic near the pier, and the general conditions on the lake's surface to reconstruct what likely happened during the event. Officials aimed to use this data to determine if any safety rules were broken or if improvements could prevent similar incidents in the future. The case record was shared with local authorities, and summaries of findings were made available to the public through statements. The report did not provide detailed speculation about how the fall happened, but it offered a clear outline: a missing person alert, search and rescue deployment, recovery at 5:30 p.m., transfer to a hospital, and a confirmed cause of death. Media outlets relayed this timeline, making sure the public understood the sequence of events as established by authorities. The detailed timetable helped frame the story in a factual way, showing what was known and what remained uncertain after the initial response was completed. After the news broke that a 27-year-old woman drowned near the lakefront, many people began to talk about how unsafe water outings can be. The idea of water as fun and harmless suddenly changed for many. Comments appeared online and in community forums reminding everyone that large lakes are dangerous, more like oceans than calm pools. Some people wrote that if simple safety gear had been used, the outcome might not have been so tragic. Others urged boaters and passengers to rethink how they treat outings on water. Because of her death, some city leaders decided to act. One of them, a local official representing part of Chicago, proposed a law saying that anyone on a boat in the city must wear a personal flotation device, a life jacket, while on the water. The proposed rule would apply to every passenger, regardless of the type of boat. Supporters of this new rule argued that requiring life jackets could help prevent drownings, especially in busy areas with many boats and strong currents. Online, people posted messages about the event. Some shared memories, some warned about danger, and some shared opinions about safety. Many used social media to stress that wearing a life jacket is not optional but vital. Others asked questions. Should the city require life jackets at all times on every boat? Why weren't there better warnings? Some criticized boat operators for not enforcing safety gear, and others warned newcomers to the lake to be careful. For many, the tragedy became a wake-up call. The proposed ordinance sparked debate. Some community members said the rule is long overdue and could save lives. They pointed out that having a flotation device available is not enough. It must be worn. Others questioned whether enforcing a life jacket law for all boaters is practical. They raised concerns about enforcement, about comfort, about whether every boat ride really needs a mandatory vest. The discussion highlighted a tension between personal freedom and public safety. At the same time, water safety advocates and government agencies supported stronger safety steps. They emphasized that natural waters, like big lakes, are unpredictable. Even experienced swimmers can get into trouble. They called for consistent use of life jackets, for better public awareness about how dangerous open water can be, and for clear rules that apply to all passengers. Some also recommended regular safety checks on boats and public education before allowing people on board. The conversation spread beyond social media. Local news outlets covered the story and gave attention to the proposed safety legislation. Reports included descriptions of the lake's conditions, dangers of currents and wakes, and accounts of other recent drownings. Many residents expressed fear and concern, especially those who spend time on boats or near the lake. Some said they would never go on a boat again without a life jacket. Others urged policymakers to act quickly, not only to pass the new regulation but also to enforce safety rules for boat owners and operators. In the end, This tragedy triggered widespread public reflection about how people treat water safety in a city where many enjoy lakes, boating, and waterfront recreation. The death prompted serious conversations about laws, habits, and responsibility. It made clear that when people plan a boat ride or a lake outing, care and precaution should come first. Many now believe that wearing a life jacket should not be optional, it should be standard. Some details surrounding the incident remained unclear even after officials released the basic information. People wanted to know the exact conditions that led to her entering the water. Questions were raised about whether she slipped, lost balance, or if the boat made a sudden movement that caused her to fall. Since the lake can be unpredictable, some wondered if the motion of the waves played a role. These uncertainties led many to search for a clearer explanation of the moments that came before the emergency call. A second group of questions focused on the people who were present during the outing. Viewers online asked who else was on the vessel and what they witnessed. Several discussions pointed out that understanding who was nearby could help explain how the situation unfolded. People wanted to know if anyone saw her fall, if someone attempted to reach her immediately, and how quickly those around her reacted once they realized she was in danger. These details remained unknown to the public, leading to continued speculation. Another area that drew attention was the conditions on the boat itself. Some asked whether the vessel had proper safety features in place. Observers questioned if flotation devices were available, easily reachable, or properly stored. Others asked if there were enough people trained to assist in an emergency. This line of questioning focused on whether the environment on board met general safety expectations and whether any preventive steps could have been missing at the time. People also wanted clarity on the timeline between when she fell and when help arrived. Although officials released the basic response information, many still wondered about the minutes before rescuers reached her. These questions included how long the people on the boat searched for her before contacting authorities and whether earlier intervention might have changed the outcome. The lack of publicly available details about those early moments raised even more discussions about emergency procedures during recreational outings. In the end, these unanswered questions highlighted gaps in the public understanding of what happened that day. Without more complete information, people continued to examine the incident from different angles, focusing on how she ended up in the water, who witnessed the event, and whether the safety measures on the boat were sufficient. The search for clarity reflected a wider concern about how such situations develop and how similar incidents might be prevented in the future. This case presents a clear example of how quickly situations on the water can change and why safety steps matter in every setting. The details from officials showed the basic facts, but the wider discussion focused on the environment people enter when they choose to spend time on lakes or other open waters. It reminded viewers that boats, even during normal activities, require proper caution and awareness. The events surrounding this situation encouraged many to think about how easy it is for unexpected moments to occur when the right protective measures are not used. The conversation that followed the incident also showed how important it is for people to understand the conditions around them when they go out on the water. Many viewers pointed out that safety rules are not only for large ships but also for smaller recreational vessels. This case led to questions about whether enough people take these rules seriously and whether simple tools like life jackets should be used more often. These points created a broader discussion about responsibility and preparation during water activities. Because the full story was not completely explained to the public, many people started sharing different ideas about what might have taken place. Viewers wanted clarity about the factors involved, but they also used the situation to reflect on their own habits when near water. The incident encouraged them to think about what steps they would take if faced with a sudden emergency. This made the case serve as a reference point for how quickly events can shift from normal to dangerous when proper safety steps are not followed. Due to the large amount of public interest, the case opened up an opportunity for people to participate in discussions about what rules should guide boating activities. Viewers questioned whether new requirements should be added for personal protective equipment and whether boat operators should follow stricter procedures. These questions helped create interest in conversations about improving safety practices in the future. The incident became an example that pushed people to consider how policy changes could reduce risks on the water. As this case continues to be discussed, it brings an important message about preparation and awareness. It shows that safety measures can play a major role in preventing similar incidents. Now, the question is left for you. What do you think happened in this case? Do you believe stronger rules should be set for people on boats? What kind of steps would make water activities safer for everyone? Share your thoughts and ideas below, and let us know your opinion about what should be done going forward.
We love you, Zahrie!